The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
And a good Wednesday morning to you, and welcome to the show. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-500. We're in the Jarrett Construction Studios, right on time, right on budget. Visit jarrett-construction.com. Phone calls to the show, a service of Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, Spring Street, Charleston. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor, on Virginia Street. Check him out at the Wedding Expo at the Ruffner, 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. this Sunday. For more, visit bestmastertaylor.com or check out Tony the Taylor's Facebook page. Welcome to the show, Wednesday edition of the show, sunny and 75 in the capital city. I'm going to keep saying it until it comes true. Last night's State of the Union address from President Trump, way past my bedtime, but I've done the homework on it, and we're going to talk about that coming up a little bit later on. But I'm more interested in getting your take on it, so you can text me now via the Tony the Taylor text line at 304-935-5008, or later on in the show, you can call me. Very special night for a couple of West Virginians, Guard members serving in D.C. We'll get into that as part of that conversation about the President's State of the Union last night. A special day on the campus of West Virginia State University tomorrow, as Earl Lloyd is going to be honored. Earl Lloyd Day. Head coach of the men's basketball team, Bryan Poore, is going to join us later on the show to talk about that, which is all going on tomorrow at the Walker Convocation Center and Institute. Plus, we've got a little personal stuff coming up as well. But as always, your phone calls and texts are welcome. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-500. Welcome into the show now, the mayor of South Charleston, Frank Mullens Jr. Good morning, sir, and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
Show.
Thanks for having me, Dave. Always glad to be here.
Always glad to have you here. All right. So first of all, I have to ask you, how's wintertime been for South Charleston? I mean, because it's been a rough one. Just went through another round. Sunday night into Monday morning, looking pretty good out there for the next several days. But how's wintertime been for South Charleston?
It's been tough. It's been we've got through it pretty good, but salt rationing is a serious concern. Hopefully, we don't get any more snow for a while because we're pretty much out. Really? And I think that's pretty much the consensus around the state. And I know we've reached out to them a couple times. I know they're running low too. Charleston, I know our directors talked yesterday. Both public works directors talked, and we're all going through the same thing. And when you have storms that spread throughout most of the country like this one has, and everybody's trying to replenish their salt, and then the rivers freeze on top of that, making it tough for the barges to get up and down. I remember this happening back in the 90s when I was director of public works, and it's a nerve-wracking time for the public works director, but we'll get through it.
Well, and again, this has been this winter has been one that it just seems like that we haven't had, and I talked to Brian Hughes, our meteorologist, about this from time to time. It's not that it's been that bad of a winter overall. Yeah. It's just that we had the one snow in January that didn't go anywhere, because we had, that was the weekend where we had the snow, the freezing rain, the rain, and then, and it was, and that snow stuck around for like 2 weeks, and it just kept refreezing and refreezing. We had a couple of more events after that, but you're right. The salt issue is a big issue.
Yeah, it's a big issue, and particularly for us. We're known for the snow removal in South Charleston, so it's not supposed to stick in our city, but it may if it comes again. But let's hope not.
You guys as you said, you probably won't want to pat yourself on the back, but I mean, a lot of people would pat the city of South Charleston. I'm talking about people that I work with here in the building that live in South Charleston. They say, you guys really go above and beyond that.
Yeah, we take a lot of pride in that. That's something we are. Garbage collection and snow removal in South Charleston. Those are the two things I always tell your public works guys. That's the two things you don't mess up in South Charleston. Garbage collection, snow removal. So, but they're good at it. They do a good job, and we'll get through it. How are things in South Charleston? What's new? Yeah, everything's big. The newest thing we just did is we I think I talked to you about it on another show. I think is we cut the ribbon on an esports and gaming new facility at the community center. So we're excited about that. South Charleston High School's got a class pertains to that. They came down and participated in it. We've reached out to some of our colleges who have that in their colleges as well, and we're hoping to get some tournaments and competition going soon. So
now, for those Mayor, for those who may not have heard that interview, we did it a couple of weeks ago, and our producer Ryan Nicholson asked a couple of questions in there as well. We appreciate that. But explain what esports is.
I'll do the best I can.
Okay, all right. Ryan, we may have to tag you in again, but
well, I mean, it's
we're good, Ryan.
A lot of different games on there now where it's a competitive situation to where kids are even get scholarships to go to college on these kind of things now.
On what we called back in the day video games.
What we called video games. A little different scenario.
A lot
different scenario. I don't know how well I can explain it. I need some of my younger staff to come on and do it maybe, but it's exciting and it's and again, it's just, it's almost like, think about this. Think about bringing baseball and soccer tournaments to your community and how what an economic impact that has, and bringing it to your hotels and your restaurants. And this kind of opens up the opportunity to do that and this kind of activity as well, and maybe even more so. And I think I shared with you, it was born out of our design of our new facility we're hoping to build soon. And I just decided to go ahead and pull the trigger and let's get it started at the community center and see how well it's received.
I mean, this thing is huge, as you said. And again, older people, not old, older people like us, we said, what, video games?
Yeah.
Like, for me, it's like, I'm thinking Pac-Man, Pong, because I'm old. But it's become a totally different thing. And you said students get college scholarships for this now. And before you do what I have a tendency to do, which is, these young kids today or whatever, a couple things to keep in mind. What those games do, what we call quote unquote games, teaches a lot of skills that are, last week, I'll give you an example. Last week I talked to Chris Hamilton from the Coal Association on the show, and he was talking about the modern coal mine, and you can transform this into any business that you want. A lot of those skills that they're using were learned on these esports. I mean, like robotics and things of that nature. So it's not just about playing games for a living. It's about transitioning those skills into other things.
Yeah, we go through that too, and be surprised how much of that, from a technology standpoint, you have to learn now to do jobs that we used to remember as being on the line in the plants. And how long it takes now for those folks to learn that skill set to be on the line. I went through it with Gestamp, with all the modern technology for stamping out car parts that they go through. It takes 2 to 3 years sometimes to educate and train these folks to do those jobs, just what you're talking about, because of technology.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
We're talking to South Charleston Mayor Frank Mullens. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants, helping to identify environmental concerns, asbestos, lead, mold, indoor quality issues in buildings all across the state, providing inspections, testing, and accredited lab services you can trust. Check out pinnaclecorp.net, helping you understand your environment, because what you don't know can hurt you. Let's talk retail in South Charleston. I mean, things going up, things happening.
Things going well. We cut a couple ribbons on some small businesses downtown here in the last couple of weeks as well. But Park Place is what folks are always really interested in. It's going very well. Matter of fact, I put my hard hat on and went and toured the new Kroger facility just this week, and it's amazing inside. What's going to be in there. I think people are going to be excited. I know people are excited about it because I hear about it every day.
And this Kroger that is coming to Park Place is unlike any other Kroger that you've ever seen. Yeah,
first one in the state of West Virginia is called a marketplace, and so they do more than groceries. Although groceries is still their big deal. But at the end of the day, they have what they call soft products as well, which you'll see in any Walmart or Target or things like that. Outdoor furniture, clothing, cookware, whatever it may be. So they have some other things in there as well. But I mean, like I say, I toured this facility, just the area where they're going to have their beauty products, for example. Man, it's amazing. It's almost like a store in its own. And so, the sushi bar and the wine and cheese and just everything that it has that we don't have now. And I think people are going to be real excited once we get that. It's a 122,000 square foot store compared to the 50,000 square foot we have across the street at Riverwalk. Kind of gives you an idea of the size.
And I'm just kind of curious, and you don't have to tell us if you can't, but what led them to want to do that in South Charleston? Because that's a pretty big feather in the cap for the city of South Charleston when you think that this is the first one like it in the state. Charleston doesn't have it. Morgantown doesn't have it. Huntington doesn't have it, but South Charleston does.
Well, I think, and just real quickly, the backstory to it is, Kroger came on board early on in this project, and then they kind of left. They had a big change in their corporate headquarters. Real estate folks changed hands. Leadership changed hands, and they changed their mind. They weren't going to do it. And then just a couple of years later, as a matter of fact, I mentioned that to my folks that are working on it. I said, let's reach back out to them. It's been a couple of years, see if they have some more interest. And lo and behold, they did. And new leadership came in. They wanted to come back. Why, Dave, I think, is the site itself. It's like, we've been going to, or I haven't done it, but I've sent my staff. They've gone to Vegas with our developer. And one of the things that's so attractive about this area, highest traffic count in the state of West Virginia, is right there on Route 60 Jefferson Road. I'm sorry. So that traffic count in itself makes that site so attractive. And I think that has a lot to do with all the interest we've had from retailers around the country to come there. I've said this for a long time. It's still true today. We have more interest than we have space available, which is a good thing. It's allowed us to be a little bit choosy. So I can't answer for Kroger as to why specifically they want to do this particular marketplace. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of it has to do with that traffic count.
We had a text, somebody said, do we have a projected opening for the new Kroger?
Yes, June the 3rd.
This
yeah.
June.
Now remember, those dates are always a moving target,
especially when we'll go back to the weather for a moment.
Yeah. But they reached out to us. If you all remember, there was a story not too long ago about Kroger's game plan for the area and what they were going to do, and also in that conversation I had with them, they targeted the June the 3rd, which I believe is the first Wednesday in June, as the grand opening for the new facility.
And you'll be there with a ribbon ready to cut the ribbon.
We'll be there ready to go. Yes, sir.
Right. What about the other stores out there? Any
yeah,
updates
well,
on
if you look over there now, you see actually four things under construction. Obviously, the Kroger. There'll be 2 buildings. You see one going up and being erected. You see the steel up now. Another identical building, just identical to that, will be going up right beside it. Those will house 7 retailers apiece. Some of them I've already announced, like Skechers and Mr. Magoo and Nothing Bundt Cake. Some of the smaller businesses will go in there. There'll be 14 altogether. And then if you look farther to the west, just the very west end of the property next to the interstate exit, you'll see the fuel station for Kroger going up as well. The canopy's already up there, and it's ready to go as well. So those are the 4 things being built now. You'll see Mission Barbecue begin this spring. We have had great contact with Menards now. It looks like they're about ready to go as well. We're expecting their building plans any day so we can issue their building permits. So I expect them to be started this spring as well. So things are really starting to pick up pace over there, and hopefully by this time next year, we'll see a lot of shopping going on.
I was going to say, if you had and again, things can change, just like with Kroger, but with a projected when pretty much everything is done, what would that be?
I would say probably be the summer of 27 when everything's done.
Everything.
This year, or 26, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, 27. I'm sorry. I'm in 26 already. Don't get me started. So this summer, what you'll see is what we call phase 1. The stores I just mentioned to you, and those will all should be open by this summer. And then the next phase, what we call phase 2, which will close on sometime this summer as well. And then you'll see those buildings starting to go up. They should be completed by no later than the spring and summer of 27, and we should wash our hands of this and be done. Everybody be shopping and eating and having a good time.
How have things gone overall? You mentioned Jefferson Road. With I was through there late one night last week and had been in the southern part of the state. And for me, living in Putnam County, it's always easy to get off that Davis Creek and kind of bypass everything. Yeah. Just amazed at the ease of getting through there now.
Yeah, the improvement's been amazing, and it's done exactly what we hoped it would do, which is keep that continuous flow of traffic going out to Quarter G now, whether you're going to Lowe's or going to get something to eat or wherever you're going. It's just so much easier. I'm through there 4 or 5 times a day. I live in Spring Hill, City Halls, and downtown. I'm down there going through it a bunch, and man, just the fact, and your muscle memory still tells you when you see a train, like, oh no, here's a train up. What am I going to do? But then you realize I don't have to fool with that anymore, right? So it's just that upgrade was so needed. And it's done exactly what we thought it would do, I think, Dave. You're right. So convenient.
South Charleston Mayor Frank Mullens, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you having me.
Appreciate you being here. Hang out with me 1 second. It's 9:20. The state's premier outdoor sports show is back and bigger than ever. 24th annual West Virginia Fishing, Hunting, and Outdoor Sports Show presented by Can-Am returns to Mila Park in Morgantown Saturday and Sunday, March 7th and 8th. Over 100,000 square feet of everything outdoors. Over 200 vendors, too, all in one spot. Complete details at WVOutdoorsportsShow.com, a WVRC media event. West Virginia State basketball coach Bryan Poore coming up next on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for supporting local small businesses.
I'm Doug Leach, founder and CEO of Ascension Recovery Services. We've done a number of projects with Jarrett Construction. Finding people that really care about what they do and care about what we do is pretty unique. In Jarrett Construction, they care. They're really, really good people. Good people do the right thing, and they're very skilled. They have all the qualities that make up just a perfect construction partner, and they just build us a phenomenal building.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
You know us as Polka Valley, The name may be simpler, but our commitment is stronger than ever. At Poca Valley, our role in the community goes beyond banking. Yes, we deliver the trusted banking services you expect, but we also bring expertise in wealth management, financial planning, and accounting and bookkeeping services. Whether you're planning for tomorrow or managing today, you'll find the guidance and relationships you need to move forward. With 8 convenient locations, Poca Valley is here to help you thrive. Poca Valley, relationships matter. Member FDIC.
Is your car lease about to end and you're not sure what comes next? You're not alone and you've got options. Before you turn in your keys, talk to the lease experts at Members Choice West Virginia Federal Credit Union. Whether you want to buy your vehicle, trade it in, or start something new, MCWV FCU is here to help you make the smartest move with guidance you can trust. Don't guess, don't stress. Get the facts and explore your options today at memberschoicewv.com. Loans are subject to credit approval. Additional restrictions may apply.
Frontier is joining Verizon. New Frontier and Verizon customers can get 6 months of 100% fiber internet on us up to 1 gig by bundling Verizon Mobile and Frontier Fiber. Plus, get 2 mobile lines for $50 per month on unlimited welcome with auto pay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Verizon store to switch. $25 per line after $60 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Eligible new Frontier Fiber plan required. Availability varies. Additional terms apply.
9:23, senior producer Ryan Nicholson in charge of things this morning. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Generations Ford of Hurricane. Great deals right now on their selection of used vehicles. You can shop and compare any used vehicle, generationsford.com. And if you need service, ask about their works package and their pickup and delivery service too. Check them out today. Just saw the Hurricane exit of I-64, one destination for every generation. Generations Ford. See dealer for details. Tomorrow on the campus of West Virginia State University, the late Earl Lloyd will be honored. He, of course, passed away 2015. Here to talk about his good friend and what's going on tomorrow at this ceremony is the head coach of the men's basketball team, the Yellow Jackets of West Virginia State University, Bryan Poore. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Always a good time to be on your show, and certainly anytime I get to talk about Earl Lloyd, it makes it extra special. You and I have talked, Coach, several times over the years about Earl Lloyd, but for those who may not know, give us the bio of Earl Lloyd and why he's so important to not only West Virginia State University, but the culture of basketball. And to be honest with you, and not to engage in hyperbole, but the entire country. Yeah, so Earl came to the campus of West Virginia State in 1946 and played for coach at that time was Mark Cardwell. And so Earl played here from 1946 to 1950. The 1948 team was 30-0 and the only undefeated team in college basketball at any level. And so they had obviously an outstanding team. At the end of the 1950 season, he was drafted by the Washington Capitals in the 9th round of the NBA and went on to make that team. And then as the way the schedule fell, because Chuck Cooper was actually the first black player to get drafted, and he was drafted by the Boston Celtics in the 2nd round that year. And then Sweetwater Clifton was the first black player to sign an NBA contract. But the way the schedule fell, Earl became the first black basketball player to ever step foot into a game in the NBA in October 31st, 1950. The team folded. He spent a year and a half, 2 years in the Army. At that time, the Korean War was going on. When he gets out of the Army, the Syracuse Nationals, who is now the Philadelphia 76ers, pick him up. And he becomes one of the first 2 black players to win an NBA championship in 1955. And then he went on to finish his career with the Detroit Pistons, and he becomes the first black assistant coach in the NBA with them, and then becomes the first black full-time head coach in the NBA. As the year before that, Bill Russell was a player/coach for the Boston Celtics. So, Earl was, like I say, was a fantastic player. And he became the first black player in the NBA, first black champion, first black assistant coach, and the first black full-time head coach in the NBA. So he was quite the pioneer.
Talking to Coach Bryan Poore of West Virginia State University. Beyond all the first he did, Coach, and all of his accomplishments on the court and on the sidelines and in the boardrooms, whatever, what made Earl Lloyd, in your opinion, such a good man? Is he such a good person?
He was just so humble. He rarely talked about himself, and I could hardly ever get him to even talk about the things that he did. I mean, he wanted to talk about me and my family and our program and how the team was doing and all those things. And he would always even deflect to Jackie Robinson, who broke the color barrier in baseball a couple of years before Earl did in basketball. And so I think the highest quality that he had was just, his humility. And, we went down and did a documentary after Earl had actually went into the hospital, and I had been there a few years earlier to his house and spent the night with him just to spend some time with him after he had a stroke. But when we went back is when I finally realized in his home in Crossville, Tennessee, which is where he retired, there was no picture, book, ball, trophy, anything displayed anywhere in his house that ever told you he played basketball, let alone that he was in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, and he was the first black player in the NBA. He had all of his, even the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame trophy was in a closet in his den in the floor. And so that just speaks volumes of him and the way he was and just the human being that he was.
Coach, how much work do you and your fellow coaches and students, even the university, how much work goes into making sure all student athletes, and for that matter, all students at State know about Earl Lloyd?
Well, for us, I mean, every recruiting phone conversation or visit, or it starts with a Earl Lloyd tutorial, if you will. And so I've asked every recruit I've ever talked to in my 27 years now at West Virginia State, who was the first black player to ever play in the NBA, and I've only had one be able to come up with his last name, and that's because he was from Detroit. So I start all of our conversations with our recruits, and I know our admissions office, when they do a tour, they always bring them through the Walker Convocation Center where we have the statue of Earl Lloyd there, and so I know our admissions people, they also educate all the kids that come on visits to our school about Earl. And I really think, that our university and the NBA this year especially has really stepped up, because this year is the 75-year anniversary of those three gentlemen, breaking the color barrier into the NBA. And myself and our Vice President, Trey Jones, a couple weeks ago on a Sunday, they had the NBA Pioneer Game, which they just started this year. And so they had us come up to Boston to watch the Celtics play, and they honored us, as well as Sweetwater Clifton's family member was there, and Chuck Cooper III was there as well. So the NBA's really done a great job this year, being the 75-year anniversary, and hopefully the momentum that we've gained with this and everybody talking about it because it's a 75-year will carry over, and we can educate more people about what these guys did.
And I'm happy to hear that you're educating, Coach, not only your players and potential recruits, but that the university, President Cage and all the others are trying to impart upon their students in general, whether they're an student athlete or not, the importance of Earl Lloyd, because this Earl Lloyd story, and I'll admit, until I met you, I wasn't aware. I've heard the name, but I wasn't aware. You educated me a lot over the last several years on this whole thing and all of our interviews we've done. I think it's a great story. If the man had never picked up a basketball, Earl Lloyd would have been a major success story, especially coming out of West Virginia State.
Absolutely, and and not only we talk about his basketball. He went on, as you and I have discussed as well, but he went on to work for Chrysler Corporation, become the first black executive for Chrysler, and then he goes on to work for Dave Bing when he was the mayor of Detroit. And so, I mean, he did things outside of basketball as well, which was very groundbreaking. And he was just such a humble, caring, well-rounded, intellectual, guy that the people that just read about what he did. Yeah, that's really good, and you can learn his groundbreaking steps into the NBA. But for me, I got to meet him in 2004 when we brought him back to retire his jersey, and then I got to spend a good 10, 11 years with him and got to know him on a personal level, and I'm just so blessed that I had that opportunity.
So tomorrow at 12:30, there's going to be a ceremony at the Walker Convocation Center. You'll be there, President Eric Cage, Athletic Director David Hicks, and more. Should be a nice ceremony tomorrow, Coach. It always is.
Yes, it will. And, tomorrow's the day that he passed away. It was on the 26th in 2015, so 10-year anniversary of that. And it's good that, the whole university is gathering tomorrow to honor him with a short little ceremony. Be a couple speakers. But we always like to pay homage to Earl and what he did for the university and continues to do for me. I mean, my opportunity to get to go and watch the Celtics play. I think they played the Bucks. Giannis was out, so I didn't get to see him play. But that was all just because of Earl Lloyd. And so I continue to reap the benefits of Earl Lloyd and the friend that he was for me.
Coach, on a more personal note, before we let you go, it's been a rough season emotionally for your team with loss, of course, of a great player. Talk about how your team has done getting through all that.
Yeah, it has been, just one that there's no playbook for, and there's no script for it. So, I had thought I had, pretty much faced everything there is in the coaching world in 26 years of being a head coach, and this one certainly is one that I don't wish upon anybody. And not only, with Ish's passing and the struggles that we had from that, but we've had multiple injuries outside of that as well. And so it's been a struggle. We've put it together here a little bit the last couple of weeks, and we've won 3 out of 4 and started to play a little bit better. And so hopefully, we can close out the season this week. We play at Concord tonight, and then we have Charleston at home on Saturday, and then go into our tournament. And so it has been a struggle. I really commend our players for them sticking to it and staying together and sticking through the grind. And so we just hope we can finish out the season strong.
Coach Bryan Poore, West Virginia State men's basketball coach, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show to talk about Earl Lloyd and talk about anything else. Anytime you and I can get together, it's always a good time. I appreciate you being here, sir. Thanks a lot, and thanks for what you and the university continue to do to, I think, keep the legacy going of a great Yellow Jacket and a great American in Earl Lloyd. I appreciate you being here, Coach. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely appreciate you having me on, Dave.
All right. 26 minutes away from 10. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Huston's Pizza. All month long, get a 14-inch one-topping heart-shaped pizza even after Valentine's Day. Only $14.99 for delivery, pickup, or dine-in. Visit HustonsPizza.com. Rest of the show is yours. Bigley, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-5008. We will check in a little bit later on in the show. Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows live at the state capitol. They're there Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Of course, getting to be crunch time now at the legislature. So we're going to check in with them a little bit later on in the show. Plus, we're going to talk State of the Union and more coming up on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
The Dave Allen Show is presented in part by Generations Ford in Hurricane, part of the Eric J. Tarr family of businesses.
All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
Retirement isn't a finish line, it's a new beginning. But are you really ready? I'm John Burdett with 4th Avenue Financial, and I help people just like you turn confusion into confidence. Whether retirement is 5 years away or right around the corner, now is the time to make a smart plan. Let's make sure your retirement income lasts as long as you do. Call today or visit 4thavenuefinancial.com. 4th Avenue Financial. Retirement done right.
Securities offered through Jenny McCall Financial Incorporated. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Jenny McCall Advisors Incorporated.
Why does it matter to members that Aetna was named a Best Medicare Advantage company by U.S. News & World Report? Because they chose a plan that gives them real support, real people, and real care. We show up with care management that ensures doctors work together on complicated conditions. We show up with the latest in online tools to make healthcare easier to use anytime. We don't show up for awards. We show up for you. And showing up for you is how healthier happens together.
Dave Allen here for Generations Ford of Hurricane. The temperatures are warming up and so are the deals on used vehicles at Generations Ford. Right now, we have our used inventory priced to move with great deals. Shop and compare any used vehicle on our lot today at generationsford.com. Need service? Get ready for spring with our Works package and ask about our pickup and delivery service. Visit us today off the Hurricane exit.
One destination for every generation. Generations Ford.
The latest in news, talk, and sports when 580 WCHS is brought to you by Jarrett Construction. Call 304-344-9140 for more information.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
About 23 minutes away from 10 on a Wednesday morning. If you got a child who's a junior in high school in West Virginia or know someone that does, this information is for you. Your opportunity to win a full scholarship from West Virginia Wesleyan, including room, board, tuition, and fees. 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program presented by ZMM Architects and Engineers and the West Virginia Farm Bureau. Deadline, though, is May 3rd. Details available WVMetronews.com. That's where you apply. Just go to the website and click on the Apply Now button. Again, it's WVMetronews.com. And the application deadline is May 3rd. And again, brought to you by ZMM Architects and Engineers and by the West Virginia Farm Bureau. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor text 304-935-5008. We'll get to the State of the Union coming up here in just a little bit. Coming up later today on Metro News Midday, 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barrett and me. Brought to you by Salango Law. It's Wednesday, which means we're going to introduce you to another wonderful West Virginian. Jeff Jenkins has the news. TJ Meadows will stop by. We'll spend some time talking about this weekend's Winter Blues Farmers Market at the Coliseum and Convention Center. Former legislator Mark Drennan is going to join us. A couple of things. You may remember Mark Drennan. He was state senator. And he got a couple of things he's been working on. One of those has been this issue with transfers in high school sports. So Mark Drennan is going to join us to talk about that. Speaking of high school sports, the dean of sports broadcasters, Fred Persinger, will join us on the show. And, of course, Open Line West Virginia. Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law with 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barrett and me coming up at noon today. On this show tomorrow, among other things, going to introduce you to another candidate, as we frequently do this time of year. This time it's a candidate for South Charleston City Council. His name is Michael McDonald, and he'll join us on the show coming up tomorrow. Also, Jim Strawn will stop by. He's got, Mr. Strawn has always got stuff going on. Does Mr. Strawn. So we'll talk to him coming up on the show tomorrow. All right, so before we get to the State of the Union, something a little personal for me. And if you follow me on social media, Dave Allen Radio on Facebook and at Dave A70 on X, and if you don't, well, you should be. Did a little video about this last night, and let me back up a bit, just to kind of get you up here. About 2 years ago, I went for a simple medical checkup, and they were concerned at that time about my blood work, particularly PSA level. And, of course, I did what most men do. I said thank you and ignored their warnings and left. Then I went back like 6 months later for, checkup, and the doctor says, well, did you ever get those PSA? No, I didn't. And so then I went back again. And my family doctor, of which I didn't even have a family doctor this time 2 years ago. Welcome to, being in your mid-50s. And I walked back, and he said, well, we're going to send you, to do some more blood work. And when I went back, and this was in the fall of last year, 2025, he said, your PSA levels have risen dramatically since the previous year, and basically said, you have got to take this seriously and address this. And that began a series of scans and biopsies. You've been through this. You know what I'm talking about. MRIs, poked, prodded, so on and so forth. And they told me last month, which I have been very open about on social media and on the air, they told me last month I have prostate cancer. And so I had an appointment with one of the doctors yesterday. And if you can find good news in bad news. I already knew that I had prostate cancer, but I was very relieved to find out that the cancer had not spread. They were concerned about not so much the number that I was given on the Gleason score. Trust me, I've learned way too much about it. And it has nothing to do with Jackie Gleason, by the way. I found that out. And the PSA level, so on and so forth. I found all this out. They told me it wasn't how high the number was. It was that it was growing so rapidly. And they said, we got to get this checked out to make sure it's not spreading because it's on the path to spread everywhere. And luckily, found out yesterday that has not been the case. So I said I got about the best good news I could get in the midst of bad news. They told me I have cancer, but it's not spread. And I've learned way too much about prostates in the last couple of months, to be quite honest with you. I will tell you I have zero symptoms of anything. I don't feel badly at all. I just have cancer. So now the treatments begin. And at some point over the next couple of weeks, I'll start radiation treatments, somewhere between 5 to 10. I don't know exactly how many yet. It all depends. All outpatient stuff, maybe last 15 minutes or so, and I'm done. I'll do that once or twice a week and then evaluate from there. Side effects, well, everyone is different. I'm hanging my hat on the fact that in the limited amount of medical issues, I've been lucky not to go through hardly anything in my life. I've had doctors that have told me I'm the perfect patient because I'm not allergic to anything. Generally speaking, medicines, if I take them when I do, which is not often, do what they're supposed to do. I have the most common blood type that there is. So you kind of get where I'm going. Now, they do tell me I'm going to be tired, maybe hot flashes. So basically, I'm going to be going through menopause. So if I am away from here, you'll know why. And I'm the type of guy who does not believe in taking time off, for anything. In fact, I had to have a sit down yesterday with our HR department here to learn how much time I had off because I literally did not know. I mean, I take a few days in the spring. My wife and I usually do a beach trip somewhere. And that's pretty much it. And I had to sit down with our HR department, which anytime I'm called to the HR department, it's usually for something else, as Ryan will tell you. I sat down and I said, how much time do I even get off? Because I had no idea. I get that from my late father. I mean, I don't see what I do here as work, to be honest with you. So I don't really want to be away, but I'm going to do better on that. Promise my wife I'm actually going to do better at that. So I just wanted to get out there. Good, bad news. Cancer hasn't spread. Something like a 96% survival rate in prostate cancer. One of the better cancers, if you're going to get cancer, one of the better ones to get, I guess. I'll keep you updated. But one thing that you can be assured of is that one way or the other, I'm going to continue to make fun of it because that's what I do. And had they told me yesterday, this is spread, guess what I would have done? I would have made fun of it because that's what I do. It's a sickness. 16 minutes away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. Maybe wintertime now, but we're already thinking about baseball at Gomart Ballpark. Now would be a good time to secure your season tickets, merchandise, and more at dirtybirdsbaseball.com. Someone asking about my urine here, Ryan. Dave, do you pee every 90 minutes or 2 hours at night? No, I don't do either. I go to bed and I wake up at 4:30 or 5 and get up. No issues in that department whatsoever. Never have had any issue in that department. All right. So State of the Union last night. President awarded 2 Purple Hearts last night. Let's start there. Start positive. One to Air National Guard Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf, who, as expected, was in attendance last night with his family. Also, another awarded posthumously to Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. President talked about 5 minutes or so on that. It's the lead story this morning, WVMetroNews.com. And we're going to dive more into that speech, play a little audio from it at some point. I'm sure you've heard it, a lot of it. We're going to play more as it pertains to the Guardsmen coming up on midday today. As for the rest of the speech, 1 hour and 48 minutes total, longest State of the Union speech in history. I asked on midday yesterday for people to give me the over-under, and I don't remember what I said. I should have wrote it down. I think I said like an hour 52 or something random like that. So if that's what I said, which I think I did, I was pretty close. President primarily told the story of America's great turnaround, quote, hottest country in the world, end quote. He told Democrats they should be ashamed of themselves for not standing up when he said, quote, the first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens, end quote. Republicans stood. Many Democrats did not. He talked about Iran. He talked about tariffs. He mocked the Democrats on affordability. Continued to talk about voter fraud. At one point, Representative Al Green of Texas escorted out for holding up a "Black people aren't apes" sign, et cetera, et cetera. And so pretty much what everybody expected it would be. So let's get to some text because I knew we would have them. Text says, Trump's speech last night again proves he's a member in good standing of the Onassis Club, says the texter. Text says, Dave, I saw yesterday another mine is laying off miners. That happened the last time Trump put tariffs on other countries. Now West Virginia coal is suffering from bad trade agreements. Don't blame nobody but Trump, says the texter. Text says, Dave, Trump talked about what he's done, higher cost of goods and food, arresting legal citizens with no due process, going in people's homes without warrants, handcuffing children, slamming old women to the ground. Now he says you don't have the right to bear arms. It's up to him, says a texter. Text says, how many Democrats refuse to stand in memory and honor of the grieving mother, and I'm going to butcher the name, Irana Zertuska, and their grieving mother had the audacity to still wear their little Ukrainian flag pins on their lapels. These are despicable people who proved last night they do not care about the innocent. Tells you all you need to know. So glad I left the Democratic Party years ago, as the Marxists are starting to rise to power. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. If you're injured, visit forthepeople.com. Got plenty more text on the State of the Union to get to, plus we'll check in with Wilson and Meadows at the Capitol coming up on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you looking for a technical job in the medical field? Generations is growing and looking to add on job-trained physical therapy techs to our rehab team. To apply, visit one of our 7 convenient locations or simply click on us at generationspt.com.
I'm John Carruthers, the owner of Best Virginia Heating and Cooling. I'm born and raised right here in West Virginia. I've got 3 daughters, so I absolutely care who comes into my home. Every technician we send to your home has been drug tested and background checked. I guarantee the best client experience or your money back. We have the best team and the best processes built around a 5-star experience. Call Best Virginia today at 681-655-1214.
According to Feeding America, over 7 million seniors nationwide were food insecure in 2022. West Virginia is no different. Hi, I'm Jason, President and CEO of Union Mission Ministries. For 113 years, Union Mission has focused on helping people in need. Right now, our senior citizens need our help. That is why Union Mission is partnering with local senior living facilities to get food delivered directly to those in need. Will you help us reach more seniors? Visit unionmission.com to learn more.
10 away from 10 on a Wednesday morning. Bigly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Bridge Valley Community and Technical College. Visit bridgevalley.edu. Bridge Valley Community and Technical College. Your career starts here. You want to weigh in on the State of the Union speech last night? But here's the thing, and I've got more text to get to, and I'll get to them, and I do appreciate all the text. Whether I agree or not, I appreciate people listening. I appreciate the text. I will say this. I don't think anybody in our modern political landscape, whether you're pro-Trump or anti-Trump, tuned in last night, and I hate to make generalizations, tuned in last night and said, well, I don't like Trump, but I really, really thought he did well in this. Conversely, I don't think anybody tuned in. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you'll be that person. I don't know that anybody tuned in last night and said, I am MAGA, I love Trump, but he was way out of line here. I think we are so dug in in our political opinions in this country right now that no matter what happens, Trump made the joke years ago about he could shoot somebody in the middle of New York City and his supporters wouldn't care. I would say he could probably cure cancer and his detractors wouldn't care, because that's just where we are right now. Nobody's going to walk away that was a Trump supporter and say that was terrible last night. They may talk about the length of it or something like that, but I mean, and nobody who didn't like Trump's going to say it was terrible or that they enjoyed it. I mean, that's just, we've got these blinders on in America, and we can't see beyond that. We cannot see beyond our own political views, in my opinion. But let's see. Text says, Trump's golden age of America. Can it get any better? Instead of $30 for Christmas, kids can make do with 2 or 3. Instead of 50 pencils, kids can get by with 5. Instead of eating steak, there are other proteins to choose from. Trump's golden age, the best 2-tiered economy in American history, says the texter. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony V. Taylor, text 304-935-5008. Text says, Dave, at work, walking through a class, and I see the word foresight on the board with its definition beneath it. I think to myself, what are these teachers doing teaching foresight? Are they trying to disqualify a child from becoming a future state legislator? I see what you did there, texter. Text says, Dave, you're going to need to get that medical cannabis card. I don't, probably not. But I don't know. I don't know. Medical cannabis, I'm not an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I have always said it helps people. Didn't find to give it to them. Recreational cannabis, I've always said I don't care, because it's not my business. I don't do it. You do it. Knock yourself out. Not literally, of course. Text says, anyone else notice that the Democrats did not applaud or stand for the Olympic men's hockey team, but they did cheer for the women when they were mentioned? As I said, full disclosure, I did not watch the speech last night. I read about it because I go to bed like at 9 o'clock, and it depends about what time it was last night. I did do a lot of viewing pieces here and there, heard a lot of audio on our morning news this morning, ABC, and what we played on the morning news as well. I will say this, and this is editorializing by yours truly. I will say this, I don't care who is in the White House, whether it's President Trump, President Biden, or, I don't know, Martin Van Buren, because we don't have enough Martin Van Buren references on this show. I long for days of decorum. That's what I like. Now, that may sound weird coming from me, as has been referred to as the world's oldest frat boy. But I do long for days of decorum. When a president gave a speech and he wasn't heckled. And this is not necessarily on Trump. I mean, remember, you lie? Remember that? Out of line. Totally out of line. When people I don't think that people have to stand or applaud for everything. And I agree with this with the state of the state when the governor gives a speech too. But I do think you need to be respectful. You need to be respectful of the building. You need to be respectful of the office of president. You don't have to respect Donald Trump or Joe Biden or whomever, but I think you do need to be respectful. And when I hear people yelling and catcalling, I think it's absolutely disgusting in that setting. I mean, everybody's got social media. Take it there. Text says, okay, nope. Text says, I don't like them yelling, Republican and Democrat. No one wants to hear you. If they did, you would have a microphone, says a texter. Again, just old man yelling at cloud here. I just want decorum. But I also want in my office of president somebody who isn't apt to name calling people stupid, going on social media. I don't want my president on social media, period. Okay? At all. You got staff that can do that for you. Obviously, he does a lot of his own, thus the misspellings and incorrect use of capitalization. I just don't want that. I don't want the rest of my life on this earth to be spent with people that think that it is okay for people to walk out, yell, scream, or whatever at a State of the Union speech. Okay. Politics these days, says a texter, you either support a pedophile ringmaster or you stand against pedophiles. It's not rocket science, says a texter. These guys are always up for rocket science. It's Wilson and Meadows, live at the state capitol. Hello, fellers.
Well, just Wilson. I lost track of Meadows. I don't know where he went.
Yeah, what kind of food are they serving today? That'll answer that question.
I don't know what they have in the cafeteria. I don't see any, free breakfast around.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe somebody had a spreadsheet and a budget somewhere to look at, and he got all excited. That could be.
Yeah, that's very true. They come in with a cart of biscuits and gravy. Wilson goes left for biscuits and gravy. Meadows goes, ooh, Dow indexes.
That's a fair assessment.
Oh, my goodness. So that's probably where he is. All right. I know you guys are going to get into it, so I don't want to steal too much of your thunder. But just tease it a little bit. Overall, your thoughts on the State of the Union last night.
It was a State of the Union. Look, these speeches are not what they were or were needed to be 30 years ago, maybe 40 years ago. Maybe you got to go back further than that. It's a campaign speech. It's a rally speech. I thought President Trump worked the room very well. He is at heart an entertainer. He knows how to work the room.
Yep.
He knows the applause lines. He knows where to crack the jokes. He does all those things. I don't need an hour and 50, but overall, not a lot of surprises there. Robert Bolton's going to join us, by the way, Fairmont State University political science professor, to give his take in the second hour. Plus, we'll take some text as well throughout the show. So,
what about the behavior, in your opinion, of the people in the chamber? And again,
childish.
This is not anything new. I mean, this has started. This is the social media of America, is what this is. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, you're exactly right. It plays to the online rage machine. Look, I don't care if it's Trump, if it's President Obama, if it's President Biden, if it's President AOC in the future. You shut up, you sit there, you act respectful, and you respect the office. Afterward, if you want to go to the reporters and tell them all the things that were wrong, by all means do that. That's the way it works. But sit there. There's no need to shout during the proceedings. That is playing into your own narcissism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and I don't care if, again, Republican, Democrat, indifferent, whatever.
See, you and
Shut up, sit down, and respect the speech. Respect the office.
You and I do agree on some things.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
How about that?
How about that? Next you'll have dogs sleeping with cats and everything else. All right. What else you got on the show today?
We're going to talk to Delegate Chris Anders from Berkeley County. He's chair of the House Freedom Caucus. We'll get his take on the budget bill that's working its way through. Also, Jason Huffman, Americans for Prosperity, will come by and offer his thoughts on why Hope Scholarship needs to be left alone.
Huffman was more animated than I have ever seen him when he was on Midday last week. He's always respectful, always a laid-back guy, but last week he came out swinging on this Hope Scholarship thing, Wilson.
Well, you have a way of irritating people, so that doesn't surprise me.
I do. All right, Wilson and Meadows coming up with Talk Line 10:06. All right, coming up later today, Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law, 13 News, and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barrett and me. We'll start things off at noon today. On this show tomorrow, good friend Jim Strawn, who's been jet-setting here as of late. He'll join us on the show tomorrow. Also, Michael McDonald, candidate for South Charleston City Council. See you later. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston and 104.5 Cross Lanes.
A WVRC media station.
We're proud to live here too.